That was absolutely terrible.
Put gaskets.
O-rings, Dave.
We're gonna put O-rings in that first.
Hell yeah, brother. Do it for Dale. We appreciate the help.
Don't ever ask again.
It's going in. Dave, what are we doing today?
I think we actually have to go pick up the engine from John and maybe get that assembled. If you remember a few months back, we took that out to John, so let's rewind a little bit.
So a few months ago, me and Dave took the boss's new F-150 out and we took the engine to John Conklin Racing Engines and dropped it off. And now we're gonna go pick it up with our fancy new lowered F-150. Hey guys, Dustin from UMI Performance here with one of our buddies and engine builders, John Conklin. We brought the boss's new F-150 out with the lowering kit out to pick up the engine for our 79 C10. John, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you did to the engine?
Hi, I'm John with CRE. We do a lot of engine builds, a lot of performance stuff. We've been doing a lot of UMI stuff forever, but this one's going to be the cream of the crop here. This one's the coolest one. So I started right out of high school. Just had a love for engines, love them. Ended up going out to Michigan when I was 19, working for K-Tech. Worked there for a while, left there, went to Ray Barton's, and then had a harebrained idea I was going to do it on my own. And came back here and been doing it ever since. So we got a short block from Dart. We had to go through it, change the pistons, lower compression, K1 rods, K1 crank, and put it back together with a Tick Performance cam, AFR head, and a Yellow Terror rod, rocker arm. Good piece already.
Enough for the supercharger.
Chargers, two of them.
Two of them.
Yep.
So power-wise, what do you think? What do you think she'll handle?
Anything that you throw at it, it'll handle it.
All right, well.
Challenge accepted.
So.
Yeah. Just don't let Ramey drive it.
It's true. But we're going to get this thing loaded up and strapped down and head back to the shop to be able to continue with the build. So thanks again, John. Appreciate you working it in for us, and we'll let you know when you can drive it.
Yeah, please.
All right, stay tuned. So we just got back from CRE to pick up our race engine. So just to summarize what John said, we have our dark block. He went through our rotating assembly, checked all the bearing clearances, threw in that fantastic Tick Performance camshaft, threw in those great AFR heads, and went through the top end and push rods, set everything. We also did the pistons and got it squared away. So now that's back at the shop, we're gonna start putting all the accessories on, getting everything on the front buttoned up, and getting those big blowers on, and a couple more goodies from Tick Performance.
Our friends over at Pro Touring Store, they make some really cool custom valve covers. They helped us out, did them in a color that we wanted, powder coated with also a powder coat clear over top, and engraved our logo in there. Really a bad piece. Big shout out to those guys. Check them out if you're looking for any autocross or pro touring type stuff. That's their jam. So we're starting off on a kind of an odd part. We're going to be installing a bunch of Motion Raceworks fuel system stuff. We got the regulator. Normally this is something that's kind of an afterthought for a vehicle, but we need to install ours before we add the water pump in. It's going to use the 2 upper bolts for the timing cover. Those are located behind the water pump, so we got to get to those now.
And it's a lot easier to do that stuff now before you get all the intake and whatnot on, especially with all the steam vent that we're putting in this truck.
So here's a little pro tip, don't cheap out on the steam vent situation. We're running all 4 corners. Make sure you buy something that's decent, that has gaskets under the blocks. The first setup I bought, trying to save a few bucks, went with a cheap route off eBay, and no gaskets, that's going to cause a huge leak. So buy something decent. We ended up using something from Motion Raceworks. Worked like a truck. Here you can see we're installing the studs into the heads. We're going to drop down the Holley high ram, put gaskets.
O-rings, Dave.
We're going to put O-rings in that first and get it set into place. Makes for a real nice seal. They make a really cool product. This Holley high ram has a lot of provisions on the back. If you're going to pull vacuum off the back, which we are in our case, it also has the map sensor location back there. Makes for a really trick piece. Everything's right where you need it to be. We called up Motion Raceworks. They asked a few questions. We gave them a little bit of detail on our build, and they hooked us up with some 100-pound Injector Dynamics fuel injectors. Those are going to work great for our application, good up to probably 800-900 horsepower. If we went with E85, we might need to go a little bigger, but for our application, it's going to be the sweet spot. So we're working through installing all the brackets and also the idler pulleys and whatnot that come in our Torque Storm blower kit. So you often see me using an impact on this front drive setup. I'm really just saving time and not snugging these down. I'll come back through with a torque wrench and get everything torqued down to spec. Next up, I'm going to be installing the wrap on the headers. I like to just kind of cross over on the top so you don't need any type of connector or a zip tie, the metal zip ties that you tend to use with these. That way I use a couple metal zip ties down at the very bottom, keeps everything in place. Pretty tight, you could see in a couple of these spots, but worked out really well, and it's going to keep some of the engine bay heat out of there. Felt like a crab fisherman. My hands were just beat up after installing a header wrap that takes forever to do.
Aye, aye, Captain.
So after Dave got the header wrap on, we just got a little ahead of ourselves here and got excited and just had to see what the torque storms look like on the front of the engine. So
Hell yeah, brother.
do it for Dale.
So here is me doing something I've never done before. I have no experience with manual transmissions, so read the instructions 2, 3, 4 times. Make sure you put this together right, because I had a couple spacers in an incorrect spot and cost us a couple hours, but
It's fine.
yeah,
I was here to save the day.
thank goodness for Dustin. Shout out to Tick for helping us spec out this ram clutch. They gave us everything we needed for the application. Also the throw-out bearing assembly really is going to work great in this pickup.
And not one disc, but 2
Dose.
So now that we got everything pretty well assembled on the front of the engine and ready to sit in there, there's only one more thing to do. Drop back and punt. So it's going in.
So next up, we're going to be dropping this engine in. We ended up going with a Tegas mount paired with our UMI Performance polyurethane bushing mount that actually bolts to the engine. Worked really well in our application.
Yeah, the nice thing about these engine mounts is it actually moves the engine forward 3 inches, and that's really going to work for what we're trying to do and pack all this underneath the hood.
Yep, AC was a bit of a issue, worried about it hitting the frame. This really puts it in a good spot. Tight in the front, but we still have plenty of clearance.
The bottom side, on the frame side, we used our UMI Performance LS mount. We ended up having to build a small spacer to make sure everything jived and worked together, but we definitely wanted to use a poly mount instead of a solid mount because we're going to be driving this thing a lot and didn't want all the road vibrations.
So to get all these different shots, we need to get a camera guy in there. So Dimitri, he's willing to put himself in any situation he needs to get the shot. Yikes.
So if you're an LS guy, you know that the header studs are sometimes a problem. After a while, they gold up and stick fast. So we reached out to Monkey Fab and ended up getting a set of their titanium studs. A little pricey, but later on, if we have to tear this thing apart, we don't have to worry about them golding fast.
Yeah, the guys at Monkey Fab, really nice guys, make some pretty cool innovative products, a lot of PTFE hose type stuff as well, wiring solutions. So I knew we were going to have some issues when it comes to clearance. Big thing for me was I did not want to cut a hole in this hood. I want everything to be under stock hood, but I wanted to get as much height and as much wow factor as we could possibly get. So asked a few friends, they gave me measurements off their setups. When we mocked this up, we took some measurements. We were real close, we're just kind of barely touching. So I ended up just cutting out the inner panel, leaving the exterior panel all factory, and worked like a charm, gave us the fitment that we need.
So whenever it came down to the piping and the intercooling tubes, we definitely needed some help because we are not even authorized to use JB Weld around here. So we opted for my boss here, Larry, to come over and give us a hand tying everything together. So walk us through what you did here, Larry.
So I went through and made some charged pipes and welded them.
That was absolutely terrible.
Is that what you wanted? Yeah, so I really enjoy this type of fabricating, working with aluminum, welding. So the guys asked me for some help here, started through and designed a layout for the truck. Got it all in place, welded it up. I think it turned out really good.
Yeah, worked out really good. We appreciate the help.
Don't ever ask again.
The cream of the crop.
So over the years, we've worked with Tick Performance. Those guys are a vendor of ours, and they also sell some awesome transmissions. We asked them to help us out with the transmission and also the air-to-water intercooler on this truck setup. This is their 1500 horsepower setup, 2 inlets, 2 outlets. You can plug one of each if you'd like, depending on how you'd like to route your hoses. Everything is just super well made, all aluminum construction, all welded in-house, all domestic, USA materials. We're running ours with a Holley high ram. This unit also works with a Holley low ram. They also make options that work great on the Texas Speed Titan intake. We wanted the tightest solution that we could in this application, so we ran the tallest intake we could in order for the biggest wow factor, but the tightest clearance to keep it under the hood but still look bitchin'. We also Went through, used color fittings, gold anodized fittings throughout the entire build. Really cool fitting, really nice fit and finish. They do not mar, work really well for us. We also powder coated all of our charge piping that Larry made for us in-house in our satin black finish. All in all, makes for a really nice fit and finish, and in the air intake temperature tends to hover right around in between 70 and 85 degrees depending on ambient. Works really great.
So I know with a little movie magic, this obviously doesn't happen in 10 minutes. There's a lot underneath the hood there that we had to do. Some of it was on camera, some of it wasn't to keep everything moving. Definitely a lot of hours, a lot of weekends to try and get this thing buttoned up here as far as the engine side goes. You know, there's a couple spots where we had to take some stuff off to make sure we had clearance to put stuff back on and work on other things. But all in all, I think the engine bay turned out pretty sweet.
Yep, everything really turned out great in that engine bay. Next up, we're going to be working on a lot more projects. We have all the interior coming, the wiring, a lot of odds and ends to get this thing fired up for the first time. So stick with us. Should be a pretty awesome reveal once we're done. And make sure to like and subscribe and comment below if you have any questions. Much appreciate checking out next episode.